join the channel, become a member here over at SubStars. So the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. A little bit ago, I went back and I rewatched the Mouth of Madness movie from the 80s, I think, which was solid and well done at the time and disturbing. And the thing is, as I go back and rewatch it every few years, it seems to bother me more, maybe as I get older, or as I kind of start wondering how deep the rabbit hole goes, or maybe as my own descent into madness from following modern politics. Then a few days ago, I went and read the Lovecraft Mountains of Madness, which if you can go on Project Gutenberg, you can download enough stuff to last a lifetime if you're a reader and have a cell phone or a Kindle. So remember that Kathleen Kennedy quote about... It's some of the quotes out of Disney are just insane. She said something about not having enough Star Wars material to make the sequel, the 7, 8, and 9 movies, which is bizarre because I guess she forgot about the extended universe, of which there's hundreds of books. It's maybe even more than that, and some of the books are, I mean, pretty well famous. That trilogy, the Thrawn trilogy, I think. And Hollywood seems out of ideas today, which is odd because there are actually a whole lot of stories out there, but I guess the authors are of the wrong ethnicity or religion or even sex or probably sexual preference. The Edgar Rice Burroughs, Arthur Conan Doyle, H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, Henry Rider Haggard, and endless others which you can find on Project Gutenberg from the amazing science fiction, fantasy type of story. Honestly, like a free reader on your cell phone or tablet is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. And if you have a Kindle, and you can convert it over to run on the Android App Store really easily. You just download a couple of bits of software, and you have like a fully functioning Google tablet if you want to use their software as well. It's kind of cool. So these guys wrote a bunch of these type of Lost World stories, but Lovecraft went into a space horror theme where everything just keeps getting weirder. And for a movie, if you wanted to remake this short story novella, I'm not sure, you'd have to stick to maybe one or two of the alien races and not a whole pantheon. It might be too complicated to follow. So the books are so over-the-top weird, and there's talk about making them into a movie, which is great because you just have to take a look at Hollywood over the past 10 years. Would be its own video. It would be interesting to take like 50 movies over the past 10 to 15 years to take a look at how far... where Hollywood has gone wrong, and probably starting with the Disney Star Wars in 2015, and then Ghostbusters in 2016, and like it just every year is another garbage bunch of movies, and because of DC and Disney, Marvel making so many movies, there's so many bad movies coming from that superhero genre, which didn't always used to be the case, but now it's like I think they've got almost as many bad movies as they had good movies. And yeah, I know the movies were never great. I'm not saying they were Shakespeare. They were just, 2008 Iron Man was getting a series off to a great, fun, simple start. Like that's all we want of movies is some guy out in the desert cobbling together an Iron Man suit, and that it was a fun movie, and he had a little redemption arc. He was an alcoholic and party animal, and I think Elon Musk was in one of those movies as well. Anyway, so where Hollywood is now is it's down to making sequels of movies like Roadhouse, which I saw on I think I saw on Black Pill channel. I think he went and broke down that video or something. People watch a lot of movies together on Rumble and Odyssey, which is cool because those platforms are new enough that you're able to do stuff like that, which will not be allowed when the platforms get beyond a certain size. But it's a lot of fun. It's like your own Mystery Science Theater when you watch a movie with a bunch of other people in the in the chat. So a movie like Roadhouse, which is a grade B movie, C movie at the time. It was not, you wouldn't think it would be a movie that would warrant a sequel, but you'd be wrong. And Goonies and Gremlins are on the way. Goonies, the remake, and then Gremlins Part 3, because they did 1 and 2, 40-year-old movies. And probably E.T. and the various haunted house movies, Poltergeist with was that blonde chick? They're here, and Amityville Horror. Who's that chick that was in Superman? Oh, son of a gun! That really skinny. She was also in Amityville Horror. I can't remember. And then the Close Encounters films, which are great, with Richard Dreyfuss. Who was he in? Jaws as well. And the and what project? Yeah, of course he's in Jaws. Sorry, my bad. And what? But he was also in a piranha like parody, low budget parody movie. He was in the first opening scenes of like some kind of piranha movie where he's out on a boat fishing and gets eaten by piranhas. And what Project Gutenberg points out is that there is a inexhaustible supply of stories by the best writers on earth, the godlike white males, these angelic ubermensch who have told, I don't know, 99% of the great stories, Jules Verne alone. And if you're into Project Gutenberg and you don't want to spend months downloading videos, you can actually, or books, you can buy a flash drive. They sell it for like $50 and it's got tens of thousands of books. So you can just have that, and you can just, and like it, it only takes, how many hundreds of megabytes. It's not a huge file nowadays. You can just upload that to your phone and share it across platforms. So Lovecraft, I guess, is not politically correct these days, as so many of these other writers are. You're always going to be able to find writers and stories that are not politically correct because we're run by cultural Marxists these days. But his stories and the rest of their stories are absolutely fantastic, and like to say they're unequaled is accurate. As is Tolkien, and the great example for that, or even the Wheels of Robert Jordan's book that Amazon bought the rights to, where they wokeified it. The thing is, the best way to tell these astounding science fiction stories are to set them in the time period. That way they don't have to ruin the movies with diversity, which is what obviously diversity does to movies. Nobody's into that kind of thing. It's like, Hollywood had its woke time period. It's time to read the room, and that kind of stuff is really not selling. And it's funny because there was an Antarctic team, I think last year, a couple of years ago, where there was a bunch of it was from South Africa. They went down there into like this very isolated Antarctica, and it turned into John Carpenter's The Thing real quick. And it, if I was going to Antarctica and I saw that team, I'd be like, no, I think I'm gonna have to pass. So 6 months with this crew, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna no. So there are a ton of stories to be told that won't be in this politically correct time period. The brave Englishmen going exploring, Stanley and Dr. Livingston, Edmund Hillary. Instead, we get Black Captain America, who's also the Falcon. So he's like a little kid creating a character where it's like he just starts combining superpowers to like Spider-Man combined with Hulk combined. You get the idea. It's absolutely insane. Or they did the Flash remake. How well did that do? Or Tron Ares, which was Black Girl Magic edition. Madam Web, which was Diversity Vagina edition. The Marvels, which is more Diversity Vagina. Snow, though, I gotta say, honorable mention to Madam Web. I'm surprised if that felt like it wasn't a horrible movie. And I know it bombed. Kind of felt like more women would be into that. Like there was feminine energy to that movie. But like it wasn't for me so much, but it wasn't that far away from being for me, where it kind of feels like women would be into it. But I think if women saw it, they would be into it, because it's like 4 women are the main ladies in that movie. So it's like, you go see it with your girlfriend or wife or something, because that kind of movie. Anyway, Snow White, Rachel Zegler's in the news again for I can't imagine anyone's going to put her in anything ever again. Some people are just kind of like kryptonite. Even Superman lost money. I saw that movie and it's like, opening 5 minutes of Superman, and there's some like a diverse Gotham City. Is it Superman or Batman or Spider-Man? I don't know. And it's super diverse, and they're all getting along. And oh, hey, an Indian guy helps Superman get up. Oh, hey, that's, yeah. I mean, kind of, again, read the room on that situation. So Hollywood might make the Mountains of Madness, but it would be updated and stupid beyond belief. Like Margot Robbie and the diversity hire team finds the evil blonde aliens and they lecture them about the patriarchy. And thank God, little illegal Consuela is there to save the day. Because the blonde men on the team are so incompetent, and then some Trump stand-in with a red hat will like rush in to try to deport her. And oh god, what was the message at the end of that global cooling movie? Back when global cooling was in fashion and not global warming. This movie's like 15 years old. The day after tomorrow or something like that. And the end of the message is, oh gosh, they go to Mexico to be warm because of global cooling. It's like, oh, no. Hey, global cooling's out. It's global warming now. No, we can't decide because we've been wrong in our predictive models for the past 100 years. So we just call it climate change. Like, oh, can you define that? No, sir, we can't. Anyway, so I read this book a month ago about Crazy Horse and Custer. And I'm imagine, why don't you make movies about something like that and just treat everyone fairly, which is, you ask the impossible. And the thing is, I'm obviously super right wing and pro white, but if I made that movie set in the cowboy days, I'd be honest because almost everyone involved seemed like really horrible people. And, don't get defensive if you're Indian or of European origin, because that's just welcome to planet Earth, where it's a struggle for resources since the Cambrian explosion. It's a fight to find the people who are the least horrible. It's not easy because human history morally seems kind of like a race to the bottom, but you only get presented one side of the story as, oh, look how evil these white people are. And I always come back with, are you familiar with the history of Islamic colonization? And they're like completely clueless. They have one, they think, oh, the Catholic Inquisition. I go, let's take a look at Islam. The 1400-year history of what Islam has done. Like, how do you think it expanded? Peacefully? No. So I love reading about the history of Haiti. And I was thinking, because there's a lot of books that were written at the time, 100 years ago, 200 years ago about Haiti, and I would think that would make a great movie, but it would get the same thing like like everything gets in Hollywood. Because the thing is, with the history of Haiti, everyone involved is horrible, and Hollywood can't tell a story where they go, oh, well, we got the French on one side and then the blacks on the other side. The problem is they're both monstrous. And to be fair, one side is actually eating themselves and everyone else, except for the Polish. They were called the blacks of Europe by the Haitians. So we have that going for us. I think that should be a t-shirt or something. But that story of Haiti would make a great movie where you had the horrible French against the horrible Haitians. That's real history, but it obviously is not going to be told in Hollywood. Somebody could tell the real story of the Dahomey tribe. Was that the Woman King with the Star Wars guy, John Boyega, who played Finn? The real story of the Dahomey tribe is that the French and English in that story were actually the good guys. And the Dahomey tribe were the bad guys, and there's a lot of moral relativism going on there, but they wanted to continue trading their cousins. And the French and English Europe was putting a stop to the human trade and said, you're going to have to go to palm oil, which is not as lucrative, but it also is not, capturing, enslaving, cannibalizing, and deleting people. Or you could tell the story of the Aztecs and the Spanish, because in that case, you get both sides being pretty well horrible. See how easy it is just to be honest? Hollywood can't do that. So they put on that filter. It's like polarizing sunglasses or something where they rotate it a little bit and it just completely filters out one perspective. And it's like, oh, it's just another story about, oh, these evil Spanish and the Aztecs were living peacefully. It's like, what about that human sacrifice? Like, oh, that doesn't really matter. Oh, okay. Or the Dahomey tribe story where they inverted history, though it was based on historical facts, but they just switched things around so that Dahomey tribe was the good guys who were enslaving people. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next episode.